beautiful people. How are you doing? How have you been? It's your girl once again with another exciting episode. I'm your girl Linda Kenyita, and this is Dog TV Kenya, the best documentary channel for all dog lovers. And today I'm visiting a dog lover, Moses, who has one of the best Boerboels I've ever seen. Love at first sight. So let him introduce himself kama kawaida, and he can tell us about his passion with dogs and how he started. Moses, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. My name is Moses Murigi. I am the owner of Boerboel Kennel. Yeah, I love dogs so much. Born with a passion for dogs ever since I was a young boy. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah, I think at the moment I have over 20 dogs. Yeah, I have German Shepherds and I have Boerboels. I have a Swiss Shepherd, and I also have what many Kenyans like calling Chihuahua, but I also have Spitz. Yeah.
And you've said you've born with a passion for dogs, but when did you start having now? I'm ready. I want to have several dogs, not one. And what was your first breed?
Actually, my first breed was a local dog. There's a time my car had broke down. I took it to a garage. At the garage, I found that there were dogs there. There's a dog and it had puppies. My passion was rekindled to the point where I told the mechanic, if for you to make for me my car, you have to give me at least a puppy or so. The mechanic told me it's okay, I can give you 2 puppies. I took the 2 puppies, I kept them so well, and then my passion now for this genetic breeds kicked in here. My first breed was a Boerboel. Yeah, it was a Boerboel. She's called Pretty. She's a girl. She's called Pretty. And then after that, I brought in another Boerboel male. Yeah.
Most of the time, we tell people when they are starting their journeys with dog to start with an easy breed, and a Boerboel is not one of the easiest breeds. So what made you make that decision now it's a Boerboel?
I think most guys are told to start with an easy breed based on a few factors. 1, based on space. 2, based on finances. A Boerboel is not an easy breed because Boerboels eat a lot. Yeah. So fortunately for me, I was in a better place financially to feed a Boerboel, and then I also have enough space. Yeah. So I chose to start with a Boerboel. Yeah.
And how has been the journey?
The journey has been very, very much amazing. I have even videos from the time I picked my first Boerboel. Now the Boerboel is approaching 2 years. Yeah. Unfortunately or fortunately, now she's sold. But there are also other dogs. But it's been a very wonderful journey. Yeah, I can't complain. Yeah.
Now let's talk about the dog that caught my attention, Marcus. How old is he? How long have you had him? And why is he so huge? He's eating everything and everything for everyone.
Actually, Marcus he eats very small portions. Marcus is just genetically big. He's a well-bred dog. Marcus is about 2 years old. When Marcus was born, he was born out of a litter of 7. Unfortunately, he's the only one that survived. So I think Marcus drank a lot of the mother's milk and all that. Yeah. So, but even when Marcus was born, if I show you one of the pictures, Marcus was just a big dog. Yeah. So that's the story about Marcus. Yeah.
Oh, when it comes to such a big dog, how physically active is it? Does it play around? Is it too aggressive? How is it?
I think a dog being aggressive does not really depend on the size. It depends on how well socialized the dog is. Marcus is extremely well socialized. As I've told you, he's the only dog that survived out of the litter. So very many guys just were coming around, petting Marcus around. So Marcus is very sociable to people. Marcus is very active. Yeah. I also take it in a nice way to give him a lot of walks because of the size, so that he may tone down on the weight and increase on muscle. Yeah.
Okay. Something else I've heard, somebody said big dogs get tired too quickly, and we met at the dog walks, and my experience is that because I've always been walking these 2 small dogs, they are more active. They get to where small dogs, woo, see the row. But what about big dogs? Because I've heard big dogs are lazy. What's been your experience?
I think big dogs, let me talk about Boerboels. They're not generally bred to be extremely active. They're not bred to be chasing things around. Boerboels are bred to protect the farm and the farm animals and the farm members from other wild animals. That's why you find that they should have a big chest. Boerboels are supposed to knock an animal down. Yeah, so they're not generally bred to be chasing things around. It is true that big breeds get tired very fast. Markers have been taking him for walks, but it's been on a program. Yeah, I go increasing the length of time and the distance with the time. Yeah, so it's true. If you overwalk the big dogs, it's possible to hurt them. Yeah.
I hope you've learned something. Okay, so because people have been asking me like, can the small breeds walk? Yes, they can. They are very active. Is it true? What about the big bull, the big breeds? You've had it. So maybe the next time we invite you for a walk and you have that dog that you have, you'll be able to make a well-advised decision. Now, you have another dog around. Tell us about her.
I also have another dog around here. I have a female, Boerboel. She's called Imara. I got Imara, I think I can almost call her rescue. I found her when she was quite malnourished. The owner of Imara was a very, very good owner. Unfortunately, financial challenges caught up with her. And she called me to pick the dog. Yeah, so I picked her and now she's recouping. Yeah. I've had Imara for like, let's say 3 weeks now. Yes.
There's something you mentioned to me, like when she came, she was pregnant. Can you tell us about that?
Generally, Boerboels, the female, they are not supposed to be heavy, or rather, they're not supposed to be so big in terms of mass, because if they are big, they might end up not. The fertility might go down. But when I found Imara, she was not too big, but she was also not the right size. She was lean, she was malnourished in one or another, and then she was also expectant. Yeah. So when I brought Imara home, I personally didn't know that she was expectant. When I brought her home, one day later, I found she miscarried a number of puppies. When I counted all, she miscarried about 11 pups. Yeah.
I know here we are in an urban setup. Yes, tell us where are your other dogs, because now you only have 2 here.
Well, I have many dogs. I've said 20 plus. I have my dogs at my farm. My farm is at Kabati, slightly past Thika. Yes, there I have. That's where my farm is. But because of my love for dogs, I just said I couldn't stay here in the urban area without having a dog or two. That's why I have Marcus and Imara at this place. Yeah.
Now, out of your experience from getting that female dog when it was malnourished, now here there's somebody who might be thinking, maybe I can take a dog and rehabilitate it. What has it taken you? Because when I look at her, I would not even think like 3 weeks ago she was malnourished. What has been the care that you've been giving her? Like also with the feeding program, what program have you put her in?
Ever since I took Imara, many guys prefer feeding a mature dog once. When I took Imara, I put her on a 2 diet per day feeding program. I give her breakfast and I give her dinner. For her breakfast, I do pellets. I do eggs, like 5 eggs, and then I use some maziwa mala. Yeah. In the evening, I give her chicken heads and rice. Yeah. Now, for you to take a malnourished dog, you must make sure that you have the financial muscles to recoup her or to recoup the dog. Yeah. You have to put the dog on proper feeding. If it's a female, for example, like Imara, I've also been giving her moringa because she lost her pup. Moringa is very nice for fertility. I've been giving her moringa. I've been sprinkling some little oil on the food to also take care of the skin. Yeah.
Now also with big boy Marcus, you said he does not eat a lot. How is that? Like, what is his feeding regime?
Marcus eats a lot, only that I don't give him too much food. He has a big appetite, But due to his size, I work a lot towards taking him to be more masculine and cutting down a lot of fat. So I give him the same meal as Imara, only that in small portions. I think I can say it's better to feed a dog on quality diet and go down on quantity. If I give markers like 5 eggs, a little bit of pellets, some chicken heads, it's quality food. But now the portions are in small bits. Yeah.
The dogs, you have this setup, it's an urban setup. How do you maintain the hygiene? Because there's no poop around or anything like that. There's no smell. Those people who are usually afraid of dog smelling and poop smelling, like how have you managed that?
I've managed to keep the place clean because my dogs understand the drill that I've put them through. I see my dogs twice a day, 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening. When I come 6 in the morning, when I take them for walks, they'll go and poop. They'll go and pee outside because they had dinner the previous night. Now, after taking them for walks, I give them time to rest a bit, and then I give them their breakfast. After giving them their breakfast, I'll see them again 6 in the evening. Now, between the time, if in case they are pressed because they're used to the drill, they'll hold on, knowing and believing that I'll come around. Yeah. So there's a time, maybe once or twice, I've missed to hit that 6 o'clock time. There's a time Imara was so pressed and she released herself. But if you put them on a particular program, they'll get used to that, and you'll keep away from a lot of poop and all that.
When it comes to the socialization of the dogs, and also in this urban setup, how are you ensuring that your dogs are socialized and they are not a nuisance maybe to your neighbors or to the places that you're taking them for walks?
So the best way to socialize a dog is just walking the dog. It's just socializing the dog. Yeah, but you have to make sure you have the dog on a leash. Take the dog for walks. Let the dog look at the cars passing. Let the dog see other dogs. With the time, some may take a little bit a longer time, but with time they get socialized. When I brought Imara, one thing I told you about Imara is a trouble-seeking dog. When I brought Imara, she couldn't stand any other dog barking. Whenever we could go, if she sees a dog, that was just trouble. But now with the time, it has reached a point whereby a dog can bark nearby Imara, and Imara will just walk. Yeah. Personally, I even didn't think that could happen. I just thought that this is just a trouble-making bitch. But with the time and with patience, a dog can adjust to the socialization. Yeah.
There's this thing we all fear when it comes to the dog, like vet bills. Have you had any financial challenges taking care of your dogs? How has been the experience with medication be? Or have you had any health challenges other now than Imara? Have you had any other health challenges when it comes to your dogs?
Yeah, health challenges are always there. It becomes even harder if one has a lot of dogs. Like, for example, I have more than 20 dogs. So you have two options. Either you carry the bill, or there's some dog breeders who end up becoming vets by default. Yeah, you just see, okay, I have to deworm my dogs after this while. You find it that you can deworm the dog, for example, by yourself. Though I'm not advocating that this is what should be done, because it's also possible to hurt your dog. There are very many details involved. So if someone fears the vet bills, the best thing would be have few dogs. Have the dogs that you can manage. But if you want to have many dogs, you have to count the cost. And vet bill is one cost that needs to be counted. Yeah.
I hope you've had, even if you have one puppy at home, you have to budget for the vet bills. We keep saying here that having a dog is like having a baby. The way you have that emergency thingy kitty for your kids, that's how you need to do about it. There is no shortcut to having a healthy, nice, loving dog. So most of the time people have the assumption that for you to have a dog in an apartment kind of setup, it has to be these small dogs, the ones we've labeled apartment dogs. But you're here with two big dogs. What has been the experience, and have you come across any challenges?
One thing with having big dogs in an urban setup, one very vital thing that the dog must be given is walks. Yeah. So if for one to be able to keep a big dog in an urban setup, the dog must just be walked consistently. That's a nice thing. That's also a challenge on my part, because for me, for example, I have to be here 6 a.m. in the morning. I have to walk Marcus and Imara for at least 1 hour. I have to be here 6 in the evening and repeat the same thing. So having a big dog in an urban setup can be a very big challenge if the dogs have nowhere to be walked, because they have inbuilt energy. They have to release the energy. Now, for me, from the way I look at it, bigger dogs are even better at apartments because their drive are not as much as the small dogs. If I walk Marcus and Imara for 1 hour, when they come back, they just want to sleep, they just want to rest. But if I imagine myself with a smaller dog, I would walk the dog for 1-2 hours. Then when they come back, there'll still be a lot of energy in the house. So personally, I think it depends on whether you are able to give the dog walks, and it has to be consistent. I think it should even have to be daily. Yeah.
So Moses, you have experience with dealing with dogs in a farm setup. You also have experience dealing with dogs in an urban setup. Like when you look at your dogs, this is not about you, it's about the dogs. Where do you think the dogs enjoy the most?
I think definitely the dogs would enjoy the rural setup, the farm, because one of the most important need of a dog is just walking. Even without you walking the dog, just letting the dog be free and the dog walking. Yeah, so I think the farm would work best for these big dogs, even the small ones. Yeah. The urban, on the other side, you must make sure that you take them for walks. It has its advantages, because when you walk, you'll see things that maybe you wouldn't see at the farm. You meet a lot of cars and everything, bicycles. So you can find an urban dog even knows how to cross the road, because the dog is socialized to that kind of a lifestyle. Yeah, now if you bring a farm dog to Nairobi or to the urban setup, now the dog will begin learning now the urban life, which is another process altogether. Yeah, I think what I would advise is first somebody needs to check himself. If you find that you have a passion for dogs, I would advise that please fund that passion, because having a dog really helps even somebody as an individual. Personally, just by staying with Marcus here, Marcus doesn't know. Somebody might think I'm helping Marcus, but Marcus is helping me a lot. When I take Marcus for walks, I find that my health is also improved. Just staying with Marcus helps me even mentally, psychologically. I can come at the office here. This is my office. I can come at the office when I'm down, feeling down and all that. When I just jump around with Marcus, because I have an innate love for dogs, I find like I'm revived, I'm rejuvenated. So what I can say is that if someone has a passion for dogs, that person should not ignore that passion, yeah. But maybe someone should just start a dog at a time, slowly fund the passion, and you see also it reaches to a point whereby even the dog benefits you financially. Yeah, this is something that maybe is not talked about a lot, but it happens. Yeah, Marcus, as you see that guy, one of his pups go for 100,000 shillings. Yeah. So if the passion is in place, if the dog is well taken care of, it reaches at a point whereby the dog now can bring monetary values back home. Yeah.
We have a question from one of our viewers. Shout out to you, Eric. Thank you for being a loyal fan. So Eric's question is maybe we address sizes when it comes to big dogs, and now you have Boerboels, which are big dogs. What's your experience when it comes to the sizes of the dogs?
What I can say with the size of Boerboels, generally males are supposed to be better than the females, yeah. And then you can find the bones of the Boerboels are supposed to be heavy bone. Boerboels are supposed to have a big chest. And even other Boerboels which have big, nice head. That's allowed, yeah. If you look at what some organizations require, for example, if you look at SAB, you'll find that they have a requirement of how high a male Boerboel is supposed to be and how high a female Boerboel is supposed to be. If you also come back to Boerboel Association of East Africa, they also have their own requirements and their own all that. So these are about size and about height. These are things which are documented. Somebody can go and research about them. But generally, a Boerboel is allowed to reach somewhere close to your knee or slightly above. Yeah, yeah.
So also, this is also like in connections with Eric Kiva's question. Does the height influence the weight?
I think when you talk about the weight of the baubles, this is something which has been so much under discussion. There are very many people who love when the baubles are heavy, and there are a group of people who consider a heavy bauble as being an overweight bauble. So it is something which is open to discussion. Personally, I believe you can find a big bauble that is not overweight. It just depends with the genetics and how the bauble is built up. You can also find a bauble which is lean but which is also not underweight. It's just that is the makeup of that bauble. Generally, baubles are heavy dogs. Yeah, if you weigh the dogs, I can give you an example. Marcus is 70 kilos. I consider him a big dog. Yeah, so generally baubles are heavy. I've heard guys also say that for you to have a nice bauble, at least make sure you can see at least the last rib. That shows you that dog is not overweight. But if you look at a dog, you can't see even one rib, these chances are high the dog will also be heavyweight, though maybe even the weight might not be that much. I hope that is understandable.
According to your experience, how is the trainability of this breed?
I think a Boerboel is a dog that can be trained well. If you train the dog at a tender age, a Boerboel can really be trained well. The dogs I began with, that is Pretty and Hank, I trained them so well. But though that I'm talking about the basic training. You can call the dog will respond. You can tell the dog to sit, the dog is supposed to sit. You can tell the dog to wait, the dog could wait. That's a level of training which can be called as the basic training. Yeah, though there are other higher levels known as training for guarding or aggression training. There are also guys who are just experienced trainers. Personally, I'm a breeder. I just want to breed a nice dog, a nice looking pup. I'm not so much on the training area, though I believe it is possible to train a Boerboel. If you find a good trainer, it's possible to train a Boerboel. And if to make it much better is if it's when the dog is still young. It really can be trained, I believe that. Yeah.
I want to take this chance to appreciate each and every one of you who've been watching, especially you who've been watching with us since the first episode that we uploaded here. We do not take that for granted. And also, if you're new here, welcome, feel free. You can ask any questions that you have regarding dogs. And also, we want to come out and say that our experiences differ from one person to another. So if you have questions, maybe you have a dog and you are wondering like how everyone is coming here with their own experience and talking about their own experience. It might be better for you to go to a professional. Like if you have any medical issues with your dog, go to a vet, because the experiences of the people I talk to differ from one person to another, and also depending on how long they've stayed with dogs. So let's take that. Remember, this advice, take it with caution, because it is a personal experience, it's a personal journey. So thank you for being with us. Thank you for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. And my people, today I want to appreciate each and everyone who's been helpful, who's been with us since day one. We said let's watch, let's share, let's subscribe, and let's grow this community together. And I've been feeling the love. Shout out to all our East African followers. I'm feeling the love. Shout out to our Namibian followers. You guys, I'm feeling you. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the encouragement. To my West African followers, thank you. And I have some new followers. I do not know how new, but you've reached out. I'm even in your group. Thank you for our Congo dog lovers. Thank you. And lastly but not the least, to all our international, like the US, the Netherlands, we are receiving the love. Jamaica, thank you for the support, because we wouldn't be here without you. Keep following us, keep subscribing, hit the notification bell to get notified every time we upload a new video. If you have any questions, remember you can ask them. We are here for you. If you want to know about something in specific, we will go out to research and ask it about it for you. Thank you for the support.
Lastly, I would like to give a shout out to one Windros Muhindi, a lady who's just begun her journey with dogs. She has a Purple Rain Kennel. Another shout out also to Dean Weedy, one of the best guys I know, one of the guys who loves dogs so much. If you want to check more about my dogs, you can follow me. I'm in Facebook. Paw Farm Kennel is an account. You can send me a friend request. If you like IG, you can also check me out in IG, Paw Farm Kennel too. And thank you. Keep watching Dog TV Kenya, the best documentary channel for the dog lovers. Cheers.
And there you have it. I hope you've picked a point here and there, and you've learned something new today, because I've learned. And also, keep subscribing, and do not forget to hit the notification bell to get notified every time we upload a new video. I'm your girl Linda Kenyita, and this is Dog TV Kenya, the best documentary channel for all dog lovers. See ya.